I'm back in the game, sort of. I'm now able to start using piste skiing as part of my knee rehab. Okay, granted, I'm still not full on skiing, far from it, but at least I can go downhill again now, which is great news for me. It's also good news for you, as I'll be able to bring you more first-hand conditions reports of what the snow is actually like myself. Let's take a little look back at what the week's been like so far.
Do you want to turn to me?
So far this week, the weather's turned out to be quite a bit better than forecast. Yesterday, Monday, was pretty much bluebird, and so far this morning it was bluebird as well. It's clouded over a little bit now. I'm having a very, very lazy start, but even so, the weather is very much usable at the moment. We did have a little bit of fresh snow Sunday night, as expected. There was a dusting of snow on the trees, down to maybe 1,500 metres. It melted away very quickly, of course, in the strong March sun. If you went high enough up, then of course there was some okay accumulations, but really nothing to write home about at resort level. Here in Saint-Gervais, Megeve, and indeed Combloux, it's really suffered with the heat of the last week. Probably lost around 30% of the runs now, and we won't get them back. Sure, it might snow again, but now that all this brown earth has been exposed to the heat of the sun, the ground is warming up too much now, so any fresh snow that does fall on it is going to melt very, very rapidly. But it is still worth coming here. Even with 50% of the piste gone in Saint-Gervais, you've still got more variety and more terrain options available here than you do in any individual ski area in Chamonix. There's still plenty of skiing to be done, and where the snow is here, there's enough of it to ski on. And of course, you don't have to ski down here on the lower slopes. Up there on the upper part of the mountain, it's still virtually wall-to-wall coverage. I've only come down here to show you what it's like, but yeah, you can have a good day and avoid all these lower slopes completely. The snow quality has of course still suffered up high as well, but there's plenty of it, so we're in no danger of losing the ski area totally anytime soon. Just popped across to the Rochebrune and Côte de Mille side of Megeve for the first time this season. Better late than never. It won't be possible for much longer. The snow coverage is fine once you're up here, as it's all broadly speaking north facing, but the link run down to the cable car which brings you across from the Saint-Gervais side is very much on its last legs now, so yeah, in a week or so's time it could well be gone. You're still able to ski here, just means you have to drive round. Coverage over here may be mostly okay, but it's still got its fair share of terrible bits too. Getting pretty thin right here. Some of these lower parts of the piste are really suffering now. But just a little bit further up here, coverage is still pretty good. Snow's of course soggy and soft, but yeah, still wall to wall up here. You can really see from here just how much snow we've lost from Saint-Gervais now. Unfortunately, this is the sad reality of the world we live in spite of the fact that it was actually a pretty good start to the season. Through mid-December to mid-January we had some fairly epic snowfall totals. Yet here we are, early March, and it's basically over for a lot of the pistes and runs around here. With the exception of the Contamines, most of the skiing in Evasion Mont Blanc is between 1,400 to 1,800 metres, and sadly that's just not high enough anymore. You need to be going above 2,000 to get consistent, reliable snow these days. Long gone the days when 1,500 metres was considered snowshore. On the plus side, it's much quieter here again in Saint-Gervais and the rest of Evasion Mont Blanc compared to what it was last week. Now that the school holidays are over, Evasion Mont Blanc is very much a French ski resort, so when all the French school kids have gone home, it becomes very, very quiet. Whereas over in Chamonix, yes, it's quieter now than it was a week ago, but Chamonix is always busy. Any time of year, if there's good weather and good snow, Chamonix is going to be busy. You'll be queuing for the Guide de Midi, fighting to get on and off the bus, even in middle of March, middle of January. So yeah, if you want the peace and quiet, come over here to Saint-Gervais, even if there is less snow. Thursday morning, we've had a dusting of snow back down to the town again last night. There wasn't really much in the forecast, just a couple of centimetres, but given the intensity of the rain that I could hear on my roof down in the lower valley, there must have been some fairly sizable snowfall up on the mountain. So I'm heading up to Brevant today to see what it's like.
Who is that? That's a ski bum on the skis. Oh. Too fast, too fast.
So up here at around about 1800 metres, there's been 20 centimetres of snow in a few places. I mean, granted, this is a lee slope here, so it's not this depth everywhere, but yeah. If you do find a nice little pocket of snow, there's some pretty decent powder to be had. But with there being a bit more snow than expected, and with the base now frozen and fresh snow on top, avalanche risk has increased, so they have closed off some of the upper runs. So the official avalanche forecast, I think, with the fresh snow has gone up from a 2 to a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 is considerable. Most people would think 3 out of 5 would be medium or average, but no, it is actually considerable. So as such, these ones here are closed. I'm here at the top of the Coal Corner lift, which is around about 2,300 metres, and there's a good 20 centimetres of snow, much more uniformly here. This isn't a lee slope, this is pretty much consistent deposit here. And again, it's a firm icy base with powdery snow on top, which is why the avalanche risk has increased. It's not a wind slab as such, but it's just loose snow on top of a glide plane. So here in Chamonix, the slopes are always groomed at the end of the day, which is fairly standard. Most resorts do that, but it does mean that the snow from yesterday, which was slushy, then refreezes after it's groomed, and you get a pretty horrible icy base. And the fresh snow that I found last night doesn't bind to it, so you just got soft, fluffy snow getting scraped off of the piece, and you're back down to the icy base. So the piece conditions today are actually not very nice. It'll be better tomorrow when today's snow gets groomed into this base, but yeah, for now it's very much soft powder moguls and scraped ice in between. I've just skied across to Flagere, and as you can see, the whole Floria sector is also closed due to the increased avalanche risk and the poor visibility up here, as is La Chenelle, and indeed as is Charlon and Bucatan. And this is often the case when you've got low vis and heightened avalanche risk, because quite simply you just can't trust people. The Outdoor Master Falcon goggles, just like the Ultras, have interchangeable magnetic lenses. This is the low light yellow tint lens, which is working pretty well so far today in the Clag. And at less than £100, plus even cheaper with my 20% discount, they're an absolute bargain. So I've come up Grand Montet for the first time since doing my knee injury. This is the only ski area in the Chamonix Valley that you can't actually get up as a pedestrian at the moment. So obviously I've not been able to get up here. So it's nice to actually see something different for a change. So I'll actually be able to give you the first hand account of what conditions are like here now for once. It's up here at the top of Bochard, which is the highest lift available in the whole Chamonix ski area at 2,765 metres. We've had about 40 centimetres of snow so far this week, which is obviously a lot more than was in their forecast, which is of course great news if you want to find some powder. Of course, as I was saying the other day, the avalanche risk has obviously gone up as well, and this fresh snow is sitting on a bit of an icy base from the sun crust of last week, which obviously exacerbates the problem a little bit. As long as you play it safe and stick to lower angle terrain and just be sensible really, then yeah, you can find some quite nice powder up here by the look of it. Obviously I'm not going to be going into it today, but it's there if you're looking for it. And given the southeasterly wind direction that we've had so far this week, I expect Courmayeur's caught even more snow than we have. Again, the forecast we're giving basically the same totals either side of the Mont Blanc Massif. Anytime you get a southeasterly airflow, of course, the wind is coming up the Aosta Valley, so again, I'd expect Courmayeur to have caught more than we have. As expected, the on-piste conditions today are much better than they were yesterday. The new snow now has been groomed into the base, whereas yesterday it was all sloughing off, so yeah, definite improvement. Earlier this week, one of my friends skied the Cosmic Couloir when the visibility was obviously a lot better than this, and said the conditions were pretty good. He took the left-hand entrance with one 60-metre abseil and then a short down climb over an icy patch, and then you're skiing. I think the right-hand entrance is also doable with one 60-metre abseil at the moment. So yeah, it's filled in pretty well over the last few weeks up high. Conditions in the cool out south, again, it's not pristine champagne powder, but it looked to be reasonably good, reasonably soft and flowy. The main holiday season may well be over, but anytime you get good weather now, it's all go on the Vallée Blanche, so it's incredibly busy. You can expect massive queues to going up the gondola at the start of the day, but also heading down Montenver train at the end of the day, the queue can be massive as well. Last weekend, one of my friends was there, and the queue was basically all the way back to the hotel, which is basically like over an hour of queuing just to get down. And when it's like that, it might actually be quicker to try and ski down. You won't be able to ski all the way, you have to take your skis off in a few places, but it is still possible to ski down from Montenvers to the James Bond and pick your way down there. So yeah, if you get there and the queues are massive, it may well be worth trying to ski and combat ski your way down. Things are just starting to kick off on the Haute route now as well. We're approaching the time of year where it becomes very, very busy. I know just from overhearing some groups in the hotel lobby last week that, again, a few groups were trying it this week. I doubt they would have got very far given the way the weather's closed in, but yeah, certainly groups are offering the Haute route now. I'm sure whenever the weather's good, it will be passable. But I know if you are thinking of doing that, or the Trois Cols tour, or indeed any other ski tour that involves the Col de Chardonnay, fairly recently there's been a big rockfall at the Col de Chardonnay, and it's much more tricky now than it used to be. A few years ago, coming from the Argentière side, it used to be snow all the way to the Col. Now a lot of that snow has been eroded and it's just dusty, loose rock and scree. And that's before you get over the other side, which indeed I think has a pretty tricky bergstrand. So yeah, the Col de Chardonnay is a pretty big obstacle at the moment. So what to expect weather-wise in the coming week? There's another depression moving across to the south of the Alps over the weekend, which should bring a bit more snow. The forecast is only suggesting another 4 or 5 centimetres, but if this week's anything to go by, we could well get another 20 to 30 centimetres maybe, who knows. And then beyond that, we're back into a high pressure regime again, so into early next week, the skies should start to clear a bit more, everything should start to calm down again. In theory, it is a cold high pressure. We're to the north of the jet stream now, so we're in the cold air mass, but it seems that there's going to be a bit of a blob of warm air sitting over the Western Alps, unfortunately. So actually freezing levels are going to rise up again above 2,000 metres, and anytime the sun comes back out, it should start to feel pretty warm and spring-like again, despite the fact that it is actually a cold high pressure. And again, at the moment, it looks like that high pressure could well stick around for at least another week or more. So beyond this spell of weather over this weekend, it could well be dry and sunny for the foreseeable. This is the home one at Grand Montée. The snow is pretty horrible, but it's still very much skiable. It's just an ice rink at the moment with sugary snow on top, so not pleasant at all, but still, it beats downloading. That's about it for this week, a week of contrasts. Fingers crossed for a bit more sun next week. So yeah, as always, stay safe, have fun and tune in then.